Have you ever wondered how the legal system treats teenagers who break the law? It's a question that's been circulating in the public consciousness for years, and it's one we're going to tackle head-on in this video. Our justice system is a vast, intricate machine, and like any complex system, it's not without its share of issues. One of the most hotly debated among these is the treatment of teens who find themselves on the wrong side of the law. At the heart of the controversy is a dichotomy. Are these young individuals misunderstood children in need of guidance? Or are they hardened criminals deserving of punishment? As we grapple with these questions, we'll explore real-life cases, delve into the problems plaguing the juvenile justice system, and discuss potential solutions that could lead to reform. So let's embark on this journey together. Stick around as we delve deeper into this issue and shed some light on the realities of the juvenile justice system. Remember the infamous affluenza case of Ethan Couch, a case that drew national attention and sparked a heated debate about the fairness of the juvenile justice system. In the summer of 2013, Ethan Couch, a 16-year-old from a wealthy Texas family, was driving under the influence when he crashed into a group of people helping a stranded motorist, killing 4 and seriously injuring 2. The tragic event was further exacerbated by the shocking defense his lawyers presented: affluenza. This term, a blend of affluence and influenza, was used to argue that Couch was so spoiled by his parents' wealth and privilege that he could not understand the consequences of his actions. The defense worked. Instead of the 20 years in prison that the prosecution sought, Couch was sentenced to 10 years of probation and therapy at a luxury rehab center. The leniency of this sentence sparked outrage across the nation. Many saw it as a blatant example of wealth and privilege influencing the justice system's treatment of a young offender. The affluenza defense and the lenient sentence Couch received highlighted a significant issue within the juvenile justice system: the disparity in treatment based on social and economic status. This case was a grim reminder that the scales of justice can sometimes tilt in favor of those with wealth and privilege. The Ethan Couch case also ignited a broader conversation about the effectiveness of the juvenile justice system in holding young offenders accountable for serious crimes. It raised questions about whether rehabilitation should be prioritized over punishment, especially in cases involving severe offenses. This case raises questions about the justice system's approach to wealthy teenagers. But what about those from less privileged backgrounds? As we delve deeper into juvenile justice, we must also consider the experiences of teens who lack the resources and privileges that Ethan Couch had at his disposal. This is where the conversation about disparities within the juvenile justice system really begins. Contrast Ethan's case with that of Khalif Browder, a Bronx teenager who was arrested in 2010. Khalif was accused of stealing a backpack, but unlike Ethan, Khalif didn't have the resources to navigate the legal labyrinth. His family couldn't afford the $3,000 bail, and so Khalif, still a teenager, found himself in one of the harshest detention facilities in the United States, Rikers Island. For 3 long years, Khalif waited for a trial that never came. These were not years spent in a cushy rehabilitation center. They were years of hardship, violence, and isolation. At Rikers, Khalif spent about 2/3 of his time in solitary confinement, a practice that the United Nations has condemned as a form of torture when used for periods exceeding 15 days. Khalif spent more than 800 days in solitary. But Khalif's ordeal didn't end when he finally left Rikers. The trauma of his experience weighed heavily on him. He struggled with depression and anxiety, and in 2015, tragically, Khalif took his own life. His case sparked outrage and debates about the treatment of less privileged teens in the justice system. Khalif's story is a stark reminder of the disparities that exist in our juvenile justice system. He was a teenager, like Ethan, but he was treated as a hardened criminal. He was held in harsh conditions and denied his right to a speedy trial, all for the alleged theft of a backpack. Khalif's case raises difficult questions about the fairness of our justice system, about who gets a second chance and who doesn't. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that our justice system often fails those who need it most. Khalif's case paints a starkly different picture than Ethan's. But are these cases anomalies, or do they reflect a broader pattern? So what are the key issues with the treatment of teens in the legal system? First and foremost, we see significant disparities in sentencing based on race and socioeconomic status. It's a sad truth that young people of color are disproportionately represented in the juvenile justice system. Furthermore, teens from low-income backgrounds often receive harsher sentences as they lack the resources for quality legal representation. This leads to a system that is not only unjust, but also perpetuates cycles of poverty and crime. Secondly, the use of adult punishments for minors is a contentious issue. Despite being minors, these young individuals are sometimes tried as adults, subjected to adult penalties, and even housed in adult prisons. This harsh treatment overlooks the fact that their brains are still developing, which can lead to poor decision-making. Moreover, it fails to take into account the potential for rehabilitation and transformation, which is particularly high in young people. Finally, we need to consider the psychological impact of incarceration on young people. The experience can be traumatic, leading to severe mental health issues including depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The environment in detention centers is often fraught with violence and devoid of positive social interactions, which can exacerbate these mental health issues. Furthermore, the stigma attached to being a convicted criminal can be a significant barrier to reintegration into society upon release. In addition to these issues, there's also the problem of recidivism. Many teens who are released from detention centers end up reoffending and returning to the system. This suggests that the current approach isn't working, and a shift towards more rehabilitative and restorative justice practices could be beneficial. These issues are complex and multifaceted, but they demand our attention and action. We must strive for a system that treats all young people fairly, provides them with the support they need, and gives them a chance at a brighter future. What can we do to address these issues and ensure a fairer justice system for all teens? Firstly, we must advocate for the reform of sentencing laws. The current laws often fail to consider the unique circumstances and development of teens. By altering these laws, we can ensure that the punishment fits the crime and the individual, rather than offering a one-size-fits-all sentence that may do more harm than good. We need to push for laws that take into account the age, maturity, and circumstances of the offender, focusing on rehabilitation rather than retribution. Secondly, we need to improve conditions within juvenile detention centers. These institutions should be safe havens for troubled youths, providing them with the resources they need to grow and change. This means ensuring adequate mental and physical health services, educational opportunities, and a safe and secure environment. We need to remember that these are children, not hardened criminals. They deserve a chance at redemption, not a life sentence of trauma. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, we need to invest in rehabilitation programs. Studies have shown that punitive measures are often ineffective in preventing future crimes. Instead, we need to focus on rehabilitation, providing these teens with the tools they need to become productive members of society. This could include everything from counseling and therapy to vocational training and education. By helping these teens to develop new skills and understand the consequences of their actions, we can set them on a better path. Finally, we need to hold our justice system accountable. This means pushing for transparency, advocating for the rights of teens within the system, and demanding change when those rights are violated. It means standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves and making sure that every teen, regardless of their circumstances, is treated fairly and with dignity. These solutions may not be easy or quick to implement, but they are necessary steps towards a more equitable justice system. Now that we've explored the issues with the treatment of teens in the legal system, what can you do? We live in a world where information is at our fingertips. It's easier than ever to educate ourselves about the issues that matter. The issues we've discussed today are far-reaching and they're not going away on their own, but knowledge is power. By understanding the challenges facing teens in the justice system, we can start to advocate for meaningful reforms. Supporting organizations working to improve the juvenile justice system is another powerful way to make a difference. These organizations are on the front lines, fighting for the rights of teens and working tirelessly to bring about change. They need our help. Your contribution, whether time, money, or spreading the word, can make a real impact. Your voice matters. Use it to make a difference in the lives of teens in the justice system.